Okay, so it's always a surprise moment at the beginning here where you see, like, is it going to be Bad Moon Rising? Because it's not like I know or I don't look it up or there's some sort of schedule that people are aware of, but I don't really care. Like, I just go in and see. So basically, it's going to be a 4-4-2. I did fall for the temptation of getting that, not the Frankenstein guy, the football guy. Any sort of high-cost zombie card, I don't mind. Deal 1 damage, the player has 0 this turn. That is a pretty good card, honestly, because it just slows things down so much. But of course I wouldn't dare to get it, right? I always want to have Rose, one of my least favorite characters, but he's the sweetest smelling sorceress you'll ever meet. 3 times uncommon. Every rose has its thorn, though. Just the fact that she's a controlled, degenerate, annoying fucking playstyle hero. But no, we're gonna just bide our time, save the 500 gems. We should even, I was even saying I'll save up to 2,000 just so I can get like fucking 4 of them, and then we beat the game as soon as we get that. But Guardian, those two kind of coincide with each other. But no, this game is almost an example of, like, even when EA does something good, they fuck it up. Like, just always, whether it be because of the business model, whether it be because of the whatever you want to say, just the lack of support over time, things like that. I'm at least glad you can still play it, but they always give Captain Combustible the honors. But it's just like it had maybe more potential than what you saw, and maybe a lot of that could have been unlocked on PC, which is totally not what I'm playing it on right now anyway. But you know, I'm not a big fan of these environments, and I get them like way too much. You know, this is a questionable way to start, but I actually don't mind it if you can just get past the fact of whatever, just the first couple turns, which this is always a great way to start. So with Captain Combustible, we just go full aggro, which is kind of what I do with a lot of people anyway, just because when your collection is as shitty as mine, that's kind of what you have to do anyway. Okay, but is he going to take advantage of it? He is. Shuffle pot of gold. All these kind of things that shuffle stuff in your deck, like shuffle magic beanstalk, they're kind of so slow paced that, at least with the way that I play, it doesn't really end up mattering too much. I can destroy him with that anytime I want. This guy hilariously won me like 3 games in a row one episode, just that he ended up being the final damage, you know, that finished them off. But it had nothing to do with like, oh, the effect is that good or anything. So that's a little bit annoying, but this is great if you just play this on the bean thing and then you kill this guy. You arguably wouldn't even have to, but just kind of a nice fancy play. So now as soon as these get any sort of Dino Roar thing, now you have a quadruple attack going on, which is insane. Which is really just going to farm out his fucking block meter, but you just can't worry about playing around that. You just have to play this game like pretend the block meter doesn't exist. Because, first of all, you can't even choose whether to attack or not. So it's not like, oh, I don't want him to get it this turn, so I'll just stop my own attack. This is one of the few games or game modes like where an auto battler thing doesn't feel too bad. Like, I don't know, the way that like you're just putting them down and they're automatically doing everything. Because the lanes are kind of cool, and there is some weird thing to this game that I almost thought I wouldn't like it because of the lanes and everything like that. But somehow it does sort of work. Like, I hate Hearthstone Battlegrounds, or I hate whatever that other game is that sort of is, it's based on like not Legends of Runeterra. It's that stupid, it's some sort of League of Legends knockoff type of thing where everything just happens automatically, so all you're trying to do is upgrade your stuff. I guess that mechanic is still very different than this kind of game. It's just the idea of the auto attacking. Like, let's take a card game and make it less interactive than it already is, where you don't even choose whether or not to attack, you don't choose what to attack, you just I mean, you sort of choose what to attack by choosing what lane to put it in, but oh, how convenient for this row that you would do one that's gonna destroy both. Are you serious? I guess it would argue we do that anyway with Frenzy or whatever, but you're just trying to like double kill them just to stick it to me. Like, you would have killed it anyway, but now you're gonna make sure that even if I had another copy of it, which you can't even do. Or no, you can do it. I'm thinking of like Magic the Gathering where, no, even there you can do it. Like, that's something I've never seen an interaction of. Like, is it possible to have two of the same ones on there at the same time? Yeah, there's never been a restriction on that. This even proves it here, like two of the same legendary on the board at the same time. I'm just in the Magic mindset for some reason. I'll just have to deal with the fact that you could do this. Now you're going to get a good amount of damage in still, to be sure. But no, that's the one thing that everybody clowns Magic for, is the fact that you can't even craft. If a mobile game like this does something better than yours, you have some problem. And that's so normal of a mechanic that every game has that. That was quite a nasty play that he did there, and there's really nothing I can do about it. Yeah, great idea there. One of the guys I consistently clown, especially compared to the other one that I forget the name of, which is like the Brainana. He's down to 1 at least, so we can finish him off with this. And he thankfully finished off his own thing there. So we're not actually in as bad of a spot as I would have been if he just kept the other one around. Like, he didn't have to do that at all. Get rid of that one. This guy comes in clutch again, like always. Guess it doesn't matter what we put where there. So hopefully he's burned out a bit, although we don't have much of a late game potential either. We're just all aggro even more unabashedly than normal, but it has worked out pretty well most of these games, but this is just an unlucky one, I guess. Yeah, he definitely played that wrong. Like, you don't need to try to make that thing stronger. The chance of getting something with better effects and better stats, even for that cost, is very low. Yeah, he just has too much value out of his hand, which is always our lose condition, both because of our lacking collection, or I guess I can't say that as much anymore. We've been pretty fortunate. Like, you know, we've gotten a couple legendaries, we've gotten 2 fucking dark matter dragon fruits, all this kind of stuff. Although I almost don't like the event cards to the extent that it makes it sort of contrived, where I'm dictating my collection too much. I kind of didn't even want to do that. But I guess it's fair because you're not crafting it, you're just buying it. But at the beginning I was almost questioning whether I should be allowed to do that or not. But because you can't get them any other way, then it's not really fair. Although even after that, there'll still be some things I can't get any other way. Like, for example, that stupid kitchen sink thing, which I never knew that was actually limited that way. So in a certain sense, it's pay to win, I guess, that way. Like, as long as there's certain things you can get through money that you can't get any other way. Not that the kitchen sink zombie is exactly the most meta god tier card anyway, but yeah, just rub it in my face a little bit. But no, that temptation is going to creep in once we get to like 750 gems here, whether I'd want to get another hero. I mean, either this guy's deck is a lot better than you would think, or yeah, that's one way to just BM though, if you fucking just whack the fucking gravestone. I won't even let this guy have the satisfaction, but you can't even kill yourself. This game's for kids, I guess. But no, either everything went perfectly for him, or his deck is just a lot better than what rank 3 would show, although to be fair, mine are mostly like that too. So let's try to get some love for the Smasher, because you do have some pretty cool cards in here, right? All the kind of event cards or whatever legendary stuff we've gotten has been only for him, I think. We have 2 nurses, 2 of these guys. We have 1 of this. What else did I get? Didn't I get some other event card too? Maybe that was for somebody else. We got an event card that was like the... I swear we got at least 1 more. I can't remember what it is now, though. This one we just got by sheer chance from a pack. What was the first? Oh, yeah, it's the Frankenstein, but you can't use that with the Smash, apparently. Wouldn't you think that would be sort of a Smash card? Yeah, we've rarely gotten to see either of those. And that guy's not even that good, but anything that's like decently statted that way I like. We just have so few things like that are actually high cost or mid cost. Sometimes you just have to settle for what you're gonna get. It's not even like me saying, oh, that card is so good. It's that, oh, that card is something I just don't have. Like a 6 cost card that's actually well statted or something. I like this guy's statting, but his effect is so bad because you can just summon something in a different lane and it'll just kill him because, you know, whatever damage you do to the face, it's kind of a weird double-edged sword. This can get out of hand really fast if he doesn't deal with it. I feel like we don't see this guy as much as you'd think. The Citron, this guy, and the Nightcap. Okay, so that only helped me. I should make like a bullseye only deck at some point because it just sort of suits me with how much I hate the block meter, but it's also too big of a commitment. I love that Viking guy who, like, I forget what his effect is, but oh yeah, he not only has bullseye, but he also drains their block meter back to 0. So even if everything else you have doesn't have bullseye, it basically works because he'll just take it right back from them. So I wonder, what if his hit was the one that would trigger the block meter? Then it wouldn't work? No, but it would never trigger the block meter because, damn, look how one-sided this is. Surely he doesn't have some crazy comeback in mind. Yeah, it would never trigger it because you have bullseye in the first place, so that's always good as a lethal thing. Like, he has one charge, one tick before his block meter triggers, but it doesn't matter then, I guess. I feel like I haven't seen that happen too often because I rarely have bullseye things anyway, but sometimes you pay too much with the statting of something to do that. Like, it'll be worse than normal stats just to have bullseye or just to have anti-hero or something like that. I'd rather have something that's just, you know, a 3 mana 3/3 or a 5 mana 5/5 or even better, like that 6 mana 7/8. It doesn't matter if it has an effect or not, although Amphibious is pretty good for that too. But this almost makes it seem like this is coming out of his head, like he has a dolphin for a brain rather than the fact that he's riding it. Yeah, look, we're making people rage quit at rank 4 here. Bronze, rank 4. All the epic experience I have in these card games at low ranks because I don't really care about, you know, it's always the means argument. Based on what both players are using, it's still a fun, even matchup, arguably. Yeah, those will be sort of the two finale conditions maybe for the series. The fact that I would get to rank 50 and the fact that I would do that permadeath hero gauntlet. The problem with that is I would need every hero in the game, even except for maybe the ones you get from the shop or from some rare chance, like the ones you can't buy outright, the Huge-Gigantacus and whatever the other one is. I keep forgetting. But the problem is that that'll still take me forever to actually do. That makes me fine with that. You know, you might question, why would you keep a 7 cost, but it'll get to the point where I almost want that. Oh, look at this. I get the 2 that I say I rarely see back to back. And yeah, Nightcap always sucks too. He's always the worst. That's why nobody ever plays with him. I shouldn't have done that in the opposite way, but I guess I wouldn't have traded in. Yeah, see, that perfectly represents what I'm all about. If you... Oh, whoops. Yeah, being a clown and misclicking. It represents the fact that I am like a 1 mana 2/2, right? That sort of value is exactly what I like. I'm not even still too worried about that. Like, I'll just let him have it, maybe. But no, you can still trade in. Like, it's even fine. Even if he buffs it, I could still do the same. Oh, fuck. But yeah, anti-hero I don't like for that same reason. That not only do you pay with the statting, but you also can easily just react to it by putting something in there. That animation is way cooler than it has any business to be for... Wow, I'm gonna pay for my trash talking against this guy, though. Just have to get some stuff down there and just survive, which that's the perfect one to get, even if... Whatever. But, like, I really fear this anti-hero garbage. He does look pretty cool, though. The whole Nightcap design. Like, what I don't like about this game somewhat is that it sort of just extrapolates so much. Unless there's a lot of stuff like this in the sequel. Like, where are they getting some of this stuff from? Like, who is Nightcap? Is he in one of the other games? What is he based on? This game came out in 2016, so I don't know what... Okay, we're never going to be able to deal with these otherwise, so let's just do it. We even passed a turn at the beginning to try to give him an advantage. We're giving him odds because we're just so superior. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff is they just pull out of thin air. That doesn't mean it's not creative or interesting, but you know, it's not necessarily true to the universe at all. Like, it's just random shit. You could actually give one of these guys a buff. And it would actually kind of work, because now you're not going to actually let it... I mean, it's not going to kill it, but... that's fine. So it almost might be worth it to do this now. Just so that we can set up for... Or you know what, who cares? Like, just let it trade in. And then we get the nurse, which can potentially save us. Now you'll see, like, why you were questioning me for keeping that, because... This is what it comes down to. You get to a late game position, but then you won't get the late game cards that you have. Is that really the best you can do, though? Like, just dinky 1/1 mushrooms the whole game? It's kind of cute at the beginning, but now it's pointless. How the hell are you even silver rank 12 with the kind of matchups that we've seen? Okay, this you'll probably want to do just because... You know, I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to put it over there. I just want to fill up every lane just because I am a little worried about my health and stuff. As long as he doesn't have like a hard removal card, which I don't know what kind of hard removal this guy has. It seems more like all he has is just these dinky fucking little mushrooms. I hear you like the puff shroom, so we give you, or whatever it's called. Yeah, it is the puff shroom. What's the other one called that's so busted? The one that shoots like out in the circle. I can't remember, but for some reason you don't see it too much in this game. Some of the best plants in the actual games aren't actually here. Or like they aren't actually that good here. If you whatever, we'll just do it for the sake of it. The nurse should probably be able to carry me here. It's fun because you get to see plays like this actually have an impact. Like, wow, he doesn't just have a simple answer to it every time, because this is a low rank random garbage play. I mean, I wouldn't really even want him to do that. And it's not like the flag guy matters right now because you don't have anything to play in the first place. Yeah, we clown Nightcap. We sort of BM him sort of inadvertently too, to the extent that this is at least satisfying because you know he's not going to have a simple answer for it. And that lifesteal is so important here. It doesn't even have a name. It's like that thing. It's like the elusive, evasive thing in Hearthstone where it just writes it out. Like whenever this, that's what you call the effect. This minion can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Like it's evasive, it's elusive. No, it's just you have to read the whole thing out every time to explain what you're talking about. So it's the same thing here. It's not lifesteal or vampirism or whatever you want to call it. When your hero does damage, he'll, like, there should be a key word for that. Doesn't this make me feel like a tryhard who's played this game every day since it came out and spent real money on it? But I guess there's only so many cards in the game, so it wouldn't even require that to happen. Yeah, but see, that healing was so impactful because there was a chance he might have won still. Even, like, let's say this was just a 6/6 without that effect, right? He might have still been able to Zerg me down. So the healing was actually super important there. So the smash is really smashing it here. See if we can get to rank 10, or I don't really even care. We don't really even have goals for this, for these episodes, as long as I do the daily quests, which I don't even really do. I don't even do them sometimes on a weekly basis. You know, I would be greedy to try to keep both of those, but I won't. I mean, you have a 2, 3, 4, 6 is okay. But there is a certain logic to keeping some of the higher cost ones, because you're going to need it and you might just not get it. Yeah, hopefully he can't get rid of it, but I'm sure he will be able to. 5 mana 7/8, almost as bad as a 4 mana 7/7. And if you consider the amphibious thing, it can be pretty good. Everybody wanted me to get Chompzilla, but his style is kind of too much in the middle. I wanted like a hard commit, right? Like, so if you want to just be pure aggro, then it's fine. The Captain Combustible's abilities or superpowers are just so on the nose, with like a very consistent committal style of play. Even if I don't necessarily like that style of play, I'm always somewhere in the middle, no matter what the game is. But with this game, I might not even mind playing as control type stuff, because normally it's not that long-winded, because the game just isn't like that. Even though this is one of those rare games where your base total goes over 10, right? Which makes it seem like it's more suited for the long game stuff, but you know, I almost have half a mind to ignore this, but I don't know. Like, I can afford to be on the defensive a little bit with this guy, but Savage, Spinach, Leafy Evolution, all plants in your hand, and lanes get +2. When you play a pet, all pets get +1. I should just ignore it, but I really can't. That's the problem. Like, I just kind of awkwardly statted. So, like, we're kind of in a confused state where I don't know really what I'm trying to do. That should give it to himself, though, shouldn't it? Like, you'd give him... This one's okay. The problem is that we're in a position where I have very little health, or fuck. I thought I was doing that to kill him, but I forgot his own effect, even though I always use that card myself. See, now is where the healing comes into mind. Like, you're just not going to have a way to survive. Move a plant. You almost just have to do this, but then I'm basically dead, because he can easily just pop my block meter. At least as at the end of the turn, I like his reaction to that. Who needs face cam when you have this? This is like my virtual avatar. Let me guess, +2/+2. I mean, fine. So 1 HP. Can we actually clutch it out? Seems very unlikely. Unless I get like the nurse, but even if I do, and he... Oh, that was a waste too. I'm gonna lose that. Whatever you summon is not even going to be that impactful either. Like, he'd have to not have a single thing he can play here with all of what he has. But even if he does, I could still move it. But now I can't, unless it happens to be amphibious. It'd be kind of cool if that was amphibious, because then you could get it out of the way of destroying your other stuff. Oh, the hunt would have actually saved me, but it actually doesn't. Well, whatever. The smash did pretty good there, so let's see. I've been kind of alternating between the zombies and the plants because we don't have enough time to necessarily play as all of them. You know, we'll do Wall Knight, not just because of the daily quest, but because maybe Green Shadow has disappointed me a little bit with his performances lately. Like, you feel like just because he has Dark Matter Dragon Fruit ×2, everything should be a cakewalk, and it kind of would be if you get to that point, but so many games you just don't get it, or you lose before then. Kind of a questionable mulligan, but it's okay. It is kind of a waste of the team up, the fact that you put it in the water too, because like, what are you really teaming up with? You almost shouldn't do that. Everybody always clowned this card and said it's so bad, but it's good within the context of a deck like this. I like getting all these 2/8s like for so cheap if you just buff it up. Right, they almost don't want to use removal on it, or you're just going to have too many of them for them to even deal with it. So this ends up being still like a mid-range thing where you don't want the game to drag out too long, despite the fact of, you know, oh, it's like Wall Knight's that kind of control slow-paced hero, but I just don't have anything truly in the end game that's going to make it worth it. So you still have to win on value here. I don't really care too much about this guy. You could do this, but it almost feels like a waste because I don't have to worry about it yet. That could be a good trading moment. It's really hard to decide sometimes whether I should try to trade or not, because if the game does drag out... Wall Knight and Smash are kind of in the same area for me as far as how I look at them, as far as being sort of mid-rangey, but obviously in a meta sense, I'm sure... Actually, I'm not sure about the Smash. He almost seems like he's meant to be a mid-range hero, but... Obviously, Wall Knight could definitely be control. Zombie evolution, all zombies get +2/+2. That might be worth it just to get rid of. Now we'll set this one up, and then we'll be able to basically do it in such a way that we... I could heal them, but it doesn't feel worth it yet. Now I can just buff those two. Go ahead. I almost don't even want to do that, but... I'm just trying to ghost that guy, I guess you could say. Just don't even want to pay him any attention the whole game. Now this makes it very worth it as far as a play with these two. You could have even done this too, but there's nowhere really that good to play it. So the heal, see that, this is what I mean. You've come up with this excellent board early on, pretty high value. So if you don't win with this, then you're gonna lose. So you have to just end it quickly. That's the whole strategy with this deck. You gotta beat them down with your nuts before they can recover. And yeah, see, you just can't get rid of it. The value is just too great. There would be probably some specific card that makes this like over the top too. Like now, just buff them once more. Give me like an AoE buff card that I don't even have with this guy, or like some kind of bullseye, strike through, whatever, or just something that rewards you for having a lot of stuff on the board, like that 3/1 that you get, where it's like gain +2 for everything you have out there. Just like a finisher in this situation if he wants to drag it out. The heal is very impactful though, because whatever. That's actually fine too, because the point is he's not really killing any of my stuff. Only thing I don't like is when you have this team up, the block meter will absorb both hits. It should only really absorb the first one, and then the second one should still get through in that row. Right? That is kind of punishing you unfairly, where it just negates the whole row rather than one hit. Okay, not too bad. And this is one of my favorite cards in the game that I always consider a legendary, even though it's technically not. Like, imagine what that could be as a finisher too. Even if they do get through all my shit, the best offense is a good defense. Just like, it perfectly sums up what this character could be about, or what I like it to be about. Okay, he's going all in, but none of this is really doing anything. All zombies, by which I mean the one that I have. I hear you like disco balls. I'd rather finish him off with that, but you can't even choose to. That's the one thing this game almost has, is like BM protection, right? You can't even BM so much, aside from like that one guy putting everything in a grave there, just to like stall out for one more turn and show off, I guess. Right, one of our previous opponents here, but other than that, you really can't BM too much because, you know, you just have to attack. So if you're gonna win, you're gonna win. You can't really help it. Yeah, I don't mind this little disco ball thing at the beginning, although arguably it's sometimes a little bit too easy to get rid of stuff like that, just for the fact that I'm still not gonna put it in the water. Like, you can just use like the rolling stone or some dumb thing like that. That sort of punishes you a little bit here. Yeah, let's see this actually come to fruition a little bit. So I'm just going to ignore what he's doing, which is not the point of this defensive-minded style of play, but I almost don't care. I'll just farm up my block meter a little bit. Imagine if this was a female zombie doing the same thing, then this game would be banned everywhere. Or mobile games always go easy on stuff like that too. Like Hearthstone had to get rid of the succubus because, oh, that'll get a ban in China or something. Actually, I guess I do feel compelled to do this, even though it feels kind of like a waste. In fact, it's a total waste because you would have wanted to buff this one too, but it's just too slow. Yeah, we're totally still gonna out damage you with this unexpected heal. We'll find a way to make this worthwhile. It seems like a terrible way to actually play it, but do 2 damage to the plant hero. Yeah, that's fine. We can easily deal with all these. So the forecasting I'd like to do, but I almost just can't do it. We'll do that for now. I hate hurting these guys with no reason though, right? You want to give them a fighting chance. We're still not in a bad spot. We'll trade in here pretty favorably. Move a plant against +4. I don't even really want to do that. Okay, we can put the water chestnut down, but I mostly just want to do this one. We can do this and then we can do the heal maybe this turn, even though I arguably don't even need it. +3 this turn. Trying to think if there's something I can move, but I don't really see what would make that worth it. Just do it. I'm partly just doing that for myself. Yeah, let's see how long this thing actually lasts in before immediate Rolling Stone, which I assume the music guy could at least use. I don't know. I never remember the types or the classes or anything like that. Yeah, he's gonna take more from that than actually getting hit by them. That can be so insane sometimes. But it can be hard to plan that for an OTK because you can't really, you know, it depends too much on what they're doing, so it wouldn't be reliable because they would have to like have a full board of stuff that's just hitting you. This should still be good too. So again, regardless whether you're getting any damage into the face, this is the perfect sort of game to show this effect off. Even by trying to get through my shit, you're going to end up dying. Right, so there's nothing you can do. And what a mistake. You probably should have saved that for the other guy, but you can't even do damage to him, I guess, apparently. Yeah, who needs legendaries for a wall night when you have this guy anyway? Although I don't know, actually, if I have one. We should look at that. Like, which heroes do I actually have where they don't have any legendaries? Because I have at least, obviously, several for plants. The only ones I have for zombies are the ones that are, like, are the ones that are basically, like, for the smash. And I got them in sort of a guaranteed way that takes the whole luster out of it. With respect to, like, it's the Nurse Gargantua pack that gives you like a fixed guaranteed thing, so it's not really as exciting as the other ones. It almost makes it seem like I got the other thing that way too, the Dark Matter Dragon Fruit, because like how would I have gotten 2 of them otherwise, but I somehow did. Go ahead and put this one here. So I'm truly trying to milk this effect. This is one of the... See, you would never get to see this sort of interaction that's actually fun and long-winded because in a high-level meta game, because they would never leave something like that around. They're always going to have removal. They're always going to have an answer for everything. That should even count towards that guy's effect, too. Because I'm technically a nut, too. The same way that I always say about those cards that say, do X damage to a zombie. Like, what? You don't consider their hero to be a zombie? Like, it's not specific enough to say that. So you're gonna take at least 6 here. Or no, 4. I technically don't have any block meters myself though, so I am in a little bit of trouble. So I should almost just use this. Just to be sure. So he did do pretty well though, all things considering. How much I, you know, was happy about getting this guy in the spotlight, literally. Play a pet. Okay, so now just go like this. Perfect time to use it just in case he has some crazy shit. And then just do whatever you want. Unfortunately, a stupid block meter thing might still pop for some reason here. Okay, he's done a really good job of flooding the board though. Like, this guy's like literally somebody I must have hired to try to make the disco ball look better than it is, because the one thing he's done is just flood the board with inane, insignificant stuff, but therefore letting me show off this guy's effect to the fullest. Whereas I often, even when I win these kind of games, I don't get the chance to do it. Like, I don't get to do the exact interaction that I want. It's more important to win the way you want to win than to simply win in the first place. So you win with the effect itself. That's a pretty epic way to end off. So let's just look at the one thing here as to who actually has. Yeah, we see we still don't get that one done. Which is kind of my fault because of how little I actually play. I don't see how you could expect to do that, but still. Yeah, who doesn't actually have a legendary though? You have the Dark Matter Dragon Fruits with him. You have the I can't remember actually. Why do I feel like he just doesn't have one? And yeah, the disco ball. Oh no, this guy is technically a legendary, but I take that guy 10 times over this guy any day. You have the Astro Kata, which again, I don't really have any synergy or anything built around it. Solar Flare, I think, has one of the. I think they all have one. Or like I even made that a rule that you can't buy a hero unless you have a legendary for it. Yeah, you have the like, stupid little Velociraptor thing. So the only one that has one for zombies though would be that clown, the Smash. Right, so you have the nurses, which again we're guaranteed. So I haven't gotten a single one in this whole playthrough from a pack for any zombie. This guy almost feels like a legendary. Premium rare, anything that's sort of high cost and well statted. So these games always have a bias towards that. Like the rarest cards are always going to be higher cost. So when you start with a new collection as a free to play new player, you're going to be immediately at a disadvantage, right? Because in that sense too of a style of play, like you have to play aggro because the best high cost stuff you're going to have is not going to be good, because anything that would be good is going to have a bias towards being high cost. Like sure, there are low cost legendary cards, but they're not going to be as common. I mean, these almost feel like legendary sometimes, but how fitting that we got that almost in time for the Super Bowl. Maybe that's why they put that on the event card. I don't know how they decide some of these, because I thought, you know, oh, for Halloween they might actually put Bad Moon Rising out there, but they didn't. I think somebody even was saying that, oh, you better save your things, they're gonna do it, but I couldn't have missed it because I play every week. Or maybe sometimes when I missed it, that would be my ultimate karma punishment. Like, oh, the one day that I miss, like, you know, sometimes I'll miss my stream, so then I'll do my Friday stream on Saturday and combine it together, and so therefore then it'll be like I would have missed it because that's the one day that it triggers on. But I don't think that's possible, right? Because how could you miss? No, it doesn't make sense, because if it ends in 4 days, right, whatever day it starts on would always fall with my schedule. Go check out this card in today's challenge. And yeah, people always say like use the tickets and stuff, but think about how much you would have to play. They would just assume that you play it every day. I don't do that even with games that I have more of a history and whatever emphasis on, like Hearthstone and stuff like that. Even that, like all these games are in like some sort of weird spot now where like Hearthstone is like you've already done the meta, you don't really want to fuck around with that, so you're just kind of dicking around with sort of fun decks. Games like this or Magic, I'm playing sort of for the first time, so at some point I would want to climb the ladder and get to rank 50 or get to Mythic or whatever, but we're kind of easing our way into that. I don't feel a need to do it in a rush. But that's always what I don't like with And with this game, it's kind of weird because it only has so many cards. But with a game like Magic or something, you could play it for literally years before you ever even feel the need to do that. But people always want to go in and say, oh, I just want to use the meta deck from day one and just already be at the top. That to me takes a lot of the fun out of it, because it's like, what's the rush? You're just trying to do it to experience what the game is all about and see all the cards and everything like that. And the biggest travesty of that is not having every card in the history of the game. Like, for a game like Magic, it only, the, you know, arena only has like 10% of the cards or 20% of the cards, which is weird. And they would rather make their own new ones exclusive to that rather than just include some of the real ones from the real version. Like, imagine if this game was a physical card game. You could literally get every card in like no time at all, because there's just not that many of them. So it's almost a joke in that sense. Like a very casual kind of card game that I'm surprised has such a following. Right, but it almost suits a filthy casual like me in this day and age where I play it so little. But even I've made such a dent in this. Right, I have like almost half the cards with every class. Right? Whereas Magic would take me literally like the rest of my life to do that. And the fact that they keep releasing every few months a new expansion makes it virtually impossible to keep up. But even if I froze it in time, like when I first started playing last year, or no, I guess now, the end of 2022, right? Even if I just tried to get every card in the game at that point, I still wouldn't be able to do it, because that would take forever. But never mind all the ones that they've added since then. The 260 and 268. But that's showing me how many I have, right? Not how many there are total. Or no, wait, I don't know. No, that must be total, because I couldn't have that many. Or maybe I could with all the... Yeah, I actually don't know if it's trying to show me that. It must be showing me mine. So all the ones that I have multiple copies of. There's some things that I have like 5 copies of, I think, too. Right, like this. And there's no need to ever do that. Like, what's the point? But I also am not crafting anything, so it doesn't matter with all this dust.